Hello, everyone. I'm Brandon, and I'm here to welcome you all here to the Tansson Talks Show, where our mission here is to help bring people together. I'm always excited to bring you all this show, and I'm very excited to bring you all this episode. So please take a moment to welcome my guest here today, Sebastian. Thank you so much for being here today.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. Glad to be here.
Yeah, I'm so glad to have you. And so, first of all, how are you doing today?
I'm good, man. Just busy with school, but another day above the ground, right?
Yeah, that is so true. And so, like I said, I'm definitely excited to have you on and to officially meet you. And
Yeah,
yeah,
me
I'm
too.
very excited for the discussion.
Yeah, me too, man. Again, I really appreciate it. It's something new for me, so I'm very excited.
Yeah, and so before we get started, are you able to take a moment to go ahead and introduce yourself for the watching or listening audience here today?
Yeah, of course. My name's Sebastian. I go to ODU. I'm a junior, criminal justice major. I have a radio show with WODU called The Blade, where I mainly do like hardcore metal music every Sunday at 10:30. And I just have like local musicians and people in the scene come on and interview and just hang out. Just have some laughs and whatnot. It's pretty chill. It's fun. So yeah,
Well, like I said, I'm definitely excited to go ahead and get into this discussion. And so, first and foremost, since you just mentioned your radio show, The Blade, definitely let us know are you able to go into a little bit more detail about the show?
yeah. So I just kind of like before a show, usually like a few days before, I'll just make like a little playlist for like an hour long on Spotify. Just hop in the studio. It's honestly like not much to it. I just play some music, say something about some songs every now and then. I always close off with this one DOA song, "We Gotta Get Out of This Place." It has Jello Biafra from Dead Kennedys singing on it, and it's a cover of an Animal song. It's kind of like a little tradition I like to have going on there. But pretty standard stuff. Honestly, I'm still learning too, so definitely room for improvement. But I'm just having a good time.
Well, that's great that that you're able to, I mean, to have your own show to, to hardcore metal and so actually taking a step backwards. So yeah, I know that you host it with WODU Studios, and so when did you actually at first get into WODU?
Well, so before I even came to ODU at all, still in high school, I was like, I really want to start a radio show in college. My dad had one when he went to college, and just I'm a punk at heart, so I just like to have the hardcore. I like to listen to it. I like to spread, my interest. And I was at like a organization fair. I was at a table with the surf club because I'm also um, like a officer in that club. Um, huge shout out to them, surf club. And then I just like kind of walked around, did a lap around the organization fair, and I saw WODU there. Just talked to Dave for a bit, and submitted an application. Didn't think I'd hear back honestly, and a week or two later, got an email saying show was approved. So just kind of went on from there.
That's awesome, and I like that you said that you have the connection since your dad had a radio show and now you have one as well, and
Yeah,
so
yeah.
yeah, and so does your dad listen to your show?
When he can, I mean, he works Monday through Thursday, so usually he doesn't. But I like to tell him what's up though.
Well, nevertheless, that still is pretty cool though that that you have a show and actually to go to go back a little further though. So so of course you mentioned that you are a junior at Old Dominion University and
I am.
majoring in criminal justice. And so first of all, how is the fall 2023 semester treating you?
It's tough, man. I'm not gonna lie. But it's good. Keeping my grades up. Hopefully, keeping my fingers crossed. It stays that way. But just a lot of work, a lot of papers, but getting it done slowly but surely.
Well, I'm glad at least that you're working to get done, and I'm sure the semester will be wrapping up or complete by the time that this releases. But nevertheless, though, I feel like the end of the semester work is always like the toughest part, just because you are just given like so many assignments and papers to complete. But but it's also the feeling of you're almost there, just like a few more days, a few more weeks.
Yeah, exactly, man. It's just like home stretch. Gotta bear down on it.
Absolutely. And yeah, and had Old Dominion University ODU, had that always been your, your hope to go to for college?
Oh, not at all, man. I was, I was, not in a bad way. I had really bad grades in high school, so just like probably just go to community college. But I was like, wouldn't it hurt to apply to some colleges? I was actually about to go to Liberty. They accepted me, but it was just too expensive, private college. And then ODU got back to me. Got in, so I was like, let's go.
Well, hey, well, at least it all worked out for you.
Yeah, right. I mean, I love it. ODU's. I wouldn't be as happy anywhere else, honestly.
That is so great to hear. And yeah, and now for you on your third year, can you believe like how much time has passed since you first started?
Man, no, it flies so fast. Like I'm almost out of here. 3 more semesters and it's done. And where does the time go?
Yeah, like isn't that scary to think about?
Scary, no. It's just kind of just how life goes. Might as well accept it.
That's definitely like such a true philosophy there. And so, since you're a criminal justice major, has that pathway always been like the way that you wanted to go, or is that more of a recent development for you?
For a brief period in high school, I was thinking of like computer science. But I took one class on it in high school, hated it, didn't do it again, and just for the longest time, I've wanted to go into that field. Be an attorney, hopefully. So yeah, I mean, like my goals have been pretty set in stone for a while now.
That's really great that you want, that you're aspiring to be an attorney. And so I guess to elaborate on that a bit more, like, do you know when, like, that you decide that you wanted to, like, go down that route, or is it something that you truly just had known, like, most of your life?
It's always been a thought in the back of my mind, um, but I guess I didn't really like commit to it fully until sometime early in high school. I want to say I have a bad perception of time, so I don't I don't really know exactly, but it's been a while now.
Oh, good though. And I'm glad that you're at least like, working towards your goals. And how's like the early coursework been for you, for criminal justice?
Oh, it's great, super interesting. Definitely my favorite classes. I hate the gen eds, but it's been fun and just makes me eager to, as much as I love it, to get out of this place, and actually start practicing.
That is, really cool though. And while I can probably take a guess since you're, majoring in criminal justice, but do you know like which direction of attorney that you want to, go into in terms of your law practice?
Honestly, currently not exactly. I've played with the idea of immigration law, business law, prosecution. All kind of everything, all over the place.
And as of right now, like, does one stand out a little bit more than the other in terms of your major ones?
Um, Probably business, just for the financial stability there. Every business needs a lawyer, and they tend to pay a lot of money when they mess up.
Well, at least like you're thinking ahead, and what can you do that you have interest in, but then like you said, also the financial stability of it. I mean,
Absolutely.
yeah, I think that's just such a important part to anything, and yeah, I mean, I'm glad to hear that you have been like enjoying your time thus far, and do you live on campus or at least near the campus?
Yeah, I live like a block off campus, so it's not a far walk at all.
And overall, have you been enjoying like the campus atmosphere and the Hampton Roads region? Because if I remember correctly, you actually are from Northern Virginia.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, shout out Haymarket. Um, but yeah, I love the area. I like to go to Virginia Beach. Surf a little bit when I can. Obviously, not really anymore. It's got a little cold for that, but Just walking around, going to shows, especially. Shout out Tap House. Um, but yeah, it's just great environment, great people, in and around the campus, honestly.
That's great. And like, were you familiar at all with the Hampton Roads region prior to going to ODU?
Um, would you consider Virginia Beach, Hampton Roads?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, so then yeah, yeah. I used to come camping at Virginia Beach like my entire life. I was at First Landing, so always been there.
That's really cool. And so since you mentioned all your life, like how often did you used to go camping prior to starting college?
At least once a summer. And it kind of dwindled in high school, but yeah, before that, at least once a summer.
That's amazing. And is that like because your family enjoyed camping, or was it like a personal passion of yours?
A little bit of both. My mom hates it. My dad loves it. I loved it. It all worked out, kind of.
Well, that's really cool though, and I guess for you and your family's method of camping, like I know like there's like the extremes between some people go like very bare basics, while whereas others have like like every accessory possible. So like I guess where do you stand in terms of then your preferences?
Kind of in the middle, man. It's like obviously the tent. We don't do like RV stuff. It would be cool though. Just the tent. We'll bring like a grill, some food, of course, sleeping bags, but nothing like insane. We don't bring our own like Wi-Fi or whatever.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense though. And I mean, like you said, that nice mixture though, at least provides a little bit of comfort, but then also like the whole purpose of camping, is to get away.
Exactly. And what better place to do it than Virginia Beach, right?
Yeah, and I mean, I'm glad at least that you were at least familiar with the general area, even if it is like a city over. But yeah, but I guess like when you first got to ODU, like what was how was the overall like thought process going, like in terms of meeting people, if you already knew people who attended the campus, or like how was that overall process for you first starting off?
See, like I knew like nobody coming in. I met with my roommate on Facebook, just through like talking in groups and stuff. So we played like Call of Duty and stuff together, like all summer. Shout out Josh. And then we just kind of started meeting people together, just in the dorms especially, and still like super tight.
Well, I'm glad to hear that that you are still tight, and I mean that's nevertheless really cool though that like you're able to explore like a new area and get adjusted to it and have like like a home for for 4 years in a
Yeah,
different area, but at least that you're not too far away at the same time.
it's a good medium. My parents can't pester me in person too often, so that's cool. But still miss them. But I can come up basically whenever I want. Like on weekends or whatnot.
Yeah, that's great. And since you mentioned the weekends, like have you been able to head there often, or do you find yourself like more so just staying within the Norfolk region for most times?
Usually, I like to stay here. Just the driving's kind of a pain in the ass. So, but I'll go up there like once a month, twice a month sometimes. If I just need to go up there, one reason or another. But yeah, usually like once a month or so, I'll be up there.
That makes sense though. And you mentioned too that you are a part of the surfing club at ODU. And
hmm
so how long have you been a part of that organization?
I found out about it just through the grapevine in the summer because I just got a new board this summer, so I was like just hitting the beach more often. And my buddy told me about them, and then I went with them for a session, and they just started this summer. Shout out Chriselle, doing a great job. Um, and then we just started talking, and she asked me to be an officer in it, so I've been helping out ever since.
That's pretty cool. And have you been surfing as long as you've been doing camping?
No, no, I'm not gonna lie, no. My brother is insane at it, super good. I just kind of started going a little bit here and there. Seeing him do it, I was like, let me try. just here and there over the past few years, but sort of going heavy recently.
Nice. Well, I would imagine as such, for officer of the surfing club.
Yeah. Yeah, I could definitely not drown out there, so that's that's pretty cool.
Well, that definitely is good. And so, since you mentioned that you do it often, like how often would you say that you would actually like, head out and surfing? I know probably not as much now since it is, in late autumn, heading into winter soon, but I guess more so for the summer months, and early autumn.
Summer, I was going every other day, sometimes. Sometimes I'd just go super early in the morning before work, even. Like I would work like at a 10 a.m. shift or whatever, just bring my spare change of clothes with me, change at the beach, and then, head over to work.
That's pretty cool. And and out of curiosity, like for your job, like have you been working throughout your whole time at ODU?
Besides freshman year, yeah, for the most part, pretty steady. Not one job, but, employed for the most part.
That's good. How would you say like has been your balance between, your academic work and trying to yeah adjust to the new environment while also working?
It's tough at times, I'm not gonna lie. Especially with, you know, different social or personal reasons, balancing all three of those things can get a little tricky sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, but just gotta power through it, right?
Definitely. But I mean, but it definitely sounds like, that you have been at least making the most of your experience, and I'm so glad at least that you like that you found organizations that you're interested in and that you're able to, work within them and learn more about about the area too.
Yeah, I've been having fun, met some great people, stick with them. We all find the best out of any situation.
Yeah, and and you mentioned too that that within the area, you mentioned that you of course attend various local shows. And so how has that been
Yeah,
for you?
it's great, man. So it's like hardcore punk. Like kind of like the metal core stuff is different. Not really in Norfolk, really, that I'm familiar with at least. Um, but yeah, I went to this one punk fest they had at Smart Mouth, the brewery right here in Norfolk, and this sick band, State of Emergency. Shout out Gary and Nathan. They played. I fell in love with the music. Started talking to Gary for a bit at that show, and then found out they had another show after that at Tap House. So I went to that. Started talking to people, following Instagrams and whatnot, and finding out like more about the scene and the people. And here I am now, right?
Well, that's great though that that you've been able to explore these shows. And were you familiar like with all the different venues and everything, or did you have to go like research them or someone tell you about them?
Um, I usually find out about it just through word of mouth or um, not for the weak records. Big shout out to Greeno and Chris. They're kind of like the big. I like to consider them like the hub kind of the Norfolk scene here. Just because they sign a lot of the bands, they put together a lot of these shows, and they post all these posters and whatnot, and that's how I kind of hear about it, and just show out whenever I can.
That's pretty cool though that that you're able to get involved with like the local scene of everything, and and truly like see some of the amazing local talent that that are in the area. And I know that you take a special pride in in highlighting a lot of these local performers on your show.
Yeah, I mean, if I like the music, I'm gonna want to support it. Definitely buy T-shirts or records or whatnot. That's how these guys make most of their money off of this. Um, so if anyone ever goes out to a show, I always like to say buy something. If you like the music, support the people that do it. And I like to put people on to the music that don't know about it. Have kind of spread their music throughout my show. And especially having them on interviews, it's great to learn more about them. Just hang out, have a good time, just spread the awareness.
Yeah, I love that you're that you're working to spread the awareness. And I know you mentioned a bit earlier that when you found out about ODU, you'd submit an application to host a show. And so, like, overall for you though, like, did you always know like what type of show that that you wanted to do, or was it truly like, you know, or like, okay, I know I want to host a show, and let's try to figure out the best way to do this.
I just kind of freestyle it. But I always wanted to do hardcore. That's my music. I love it, and I just knew I wanted to do hardcore punk. That's basically it.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And yeah, but I'm glad that, like I said, that you're able to have that opportunity to do it. And yeah, and it sounds like you're certainly enjoying it.
I love it. It's a blast. Whether or not I have somebody on with me. Um, Sometimes if it's just me there doing my regular show, like I'll play the music. I just love listening to it. And the environment at the studio is great. Just chill out, check Instagram and stuff. Mess around. And then when someone's on there for an interview, it's just interesting. Hearing their stories and getting questions answered that I've been thinking about. But like with my structure for the interviews, I don't do like a proper interview. I also suck at that. I just kind of like have a conversation and things snowball from there.
Well, nevertheless, though, I mean, that is just such a great way, especially to provide like a genuine conversation. And yeah, and I definitely had a chance to listen to, I believe, your last two episodes, and I really like the
Appreciate
way
it.
that, I really like the way that you like, spoke with your guests, and also made sure that, that you could highlight them properly and what they're doing. And so, I mean, I just really hope that you continue the great work that you're doing.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. But I think it's really important to me just because I don't know them super well for the most part at the time that I'm doing these. So what better way to, highlight their passions or attributes or, whatever's going on with them than them themselves. Just ask them what's going on and they'll they'll give me the best answer they can, and that's all it really takes.
Nevertheless, I'm glad at least that, like I said, that you're enjoying it. And so for the first few shows that you had, how was it like adjusting to it? Was hosting the show like you had imagined?
Honestly, yeah. It's great. It's exactly what I thought it would be. Actually, my first show when I went in there, I brought a bunch of my records to play on the show, like old school disc jockey type stuff. But they weren't working, so I was kind of like, okay, what do I play on Spotify? Like queuing up, trying not to like lag behind. So that was a little stressful my first time, but after that, started making playlists regularly, less stress. But I still want to get to like the use my records and whatnot, because some of the stuff I have here is just not on Spotify, um, which is kind of a shame. But you know,
And so since you mentioned records, like yeah, and I definitely believe that for some of the streaming services that they have a bit to catch up on, like for hardcore music listeners such as yourself. But you know, but I guess for you, what is the power like in having yeah, I guess physical media as opposed to using like applications such as Spotify?
oh, it's great, man. Like you don't need Wi-Fi, number one. And I don't know, there's something about the sound, the feel of it. Just pop that player open, put it on. Actually doing the disc or the needle, sorry. It's just something physical about it, which I love, and it's also money that goes right to the artist. There's no streaming platforms that give them like a penny per listen. You're buying a $20 to $40 record sometimes, and it goes right to the artist. And something about the sound, man, it's not too different, but if it's like an old one, like I have some from like the '80s, late '70s, and they got a little crackle. It just adds to the experience, I think.
And out of curiosity, how long have you been collecting these records?
Well, started with my dad. I have a lot of his old stuff that he gave me, mostly hardcore again. He's the one that put me on when I was younger. But he gave me a lot of his, fell in love with it, started buying my own, and the collection grows.
I love that your collection's growing, and yeah, and I guess how many would you say that you have collected over these past few years?
Ooh, I gotta say at least 100. Not just me personally buying. That's included with what my father gave me.
That is amazing, though, and I hope that you're able to continue growing your collection.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm running out of space here. Honestly, I got a crate, the corner of my room, but it's filling up. I still got some more at home, so
Was it a hard decision figuring out like which ones should come to to college with you and which ones will stay at home?
oh, that was the hardest thing I think I've ever done. They're all good. It's tough to pick what, like 100 of them or something like that.
That's outstanding, though, and I mean, it sounds like that you definitely take great care in your work and passions, and and everything that you're doing. And so, I guess going over these next few weeks and months as we're heading towards the spring semester, just in early January, which I mean, if that feels surreal to me.
Yeah, it's almost 2024. It's another year, and it's doesn't get less crazy.
Yeah, that is so true. And hopefully for for a really good year for 2024, and not that long from now. I'm just several weeks away, but
Hmm.
nevertheless though, do you have any like aspirations for 2024, whether for the spring semester or otherwise?
Just keep up on my grades. I'm not the most consistent student. I will be honest there, but I like to give my best effort. So I'm just definitely trying to keep the grades up, keep my fun passions going. So I definitely want to keep doing the radio show. Want to keep doing the surf club. Thinking about doing pre-law at ODU, but haven't got any concrete steps with that yet. And just kind of aiming for like an internship or something for the summer. So
Well, I definitely hope that you're able to find an internship that works for you. And I know, of course, that you work, and so is any of the work that you do like anywhere near or close to your your overall ambitions, or is it just or is it just general work for you?
it's not in the field of you know law and whatnot, but it's fun. I love it. I've there's been interest in the past of the stuff that we do, so it's not like a waste of time. I don't see it as that at all.
But yeah, I'm very glad that at least that you're enjoying what you do. And do most people that know you like know all about your passions for for hardcore punk?
I think it's kind of hard to kind of hard to miss it. I wear my heart on my sleeve, right? Everything that I love, I'll make it apparent, whether you like it or not, right?
Well, that's the the best way to do that. And I would and so actually to flip this though, what is something that people don't know about you?
Oh man, um, that's a tough one. I think I'm pretty much an open book, you know, for the most part. I can't really think of something that people don't know.
That's definitely interesting to hear. And so so I guess for the for the watchers or listeners um here today, so I guess outside of your like I said, your hardcore punk and and surfing, like what are some of your other outside interests that that you have?
You know, I'll play guitar whenever I can. Bass, a little iffy on the bass, but it's fun nonetheless. I'll play some video games every now and then. Actually, a little bit more than I should probably. Just hanging out with the boys. Watching movies, just hanging out. Pretty chill.
That makes perfect sense though. And how long have you been playing the guitar?
Oh boy. Um, Consistently, like very, very, you know, regularly, probably for the past 4 to 6 years, I think. My grandfather bought me my first acoustic guitar way back when. Um, took some lessons for a bit. Didn't really like it. Didn't stick. So I dropped it for a number of years, and then I just picked it up again, and the passion grew from there.
I love that. And was getting the acoustic guitar from your grandpa, was that the start of your interest for guitar, or did you have a vague interest prior to that?
Oh, I definitely had an interest. I'd always be talking about it for a long time, and then he was like, let's go and get you a guitar. And so, I love it.
That's amazing, though. And I mean, and it's really cool though that you have just so many different interests. And like, how do you tie it all together, and how do you have the time to do everything?
Oh, man, I think about this sometimes. Like most of my interests have no correlation with each other, so I think it's kind of funny, honestly. But to get the time, if you like doing something or if it's worth doing, you're gonna find the time for it. And it starts being easy. I have some free time, I'll pick it up, I'll start jamming out for a few minutes to a couple hours. Um, yeah, if you like it, you're gonna find time.
Yeah, that is so great to hear, though. And yeah, and I mean, it's really cool though that to hear all about your different interests, and yeah, and like you were saying, even though that they may not correlate with each other, it's really great though that you have just so diversified, you know, interests in different fields, and so and so. Out of curiosity, is there anything that you are not currently in that you would like to potentially dive into in the future?
I mentioned it earlier. The ODU Pre-Law Association. I went to a meeting last semester. Um, but then kind of nothing happened after that. I don't know why, but definitely want to get more involved with that. And I want to start a band. If you're a drummer or a bassist or a singer out there, hit me up. But yeah, just play some hardcore.
That is pretty cool though that that you want to start a band, and so yeah, I mean, I definitely would love to support you, if you're able to make that happen, and of
Yeah,
course you
thank
always
you.
have, yeah, of course, and yeah, and I definitely hope that all the viewers and listeners will definitely tune into your show every week on on WODU.
I hope so. That'd be great. The more listeners, the better. But I'd still be doing it with zero listeners. It's just something I love.
That's great. And I know that you said that your time is, 10:30 p.m. On Sundays. And so out of curiosity, how did the 10:30 p.m. time, come to be? Are you just a night owl, or was that the time offered for you?
See, recently I've been I've been getting real sleepy early just because it gets dark so early. But I was hoping for like a 1 a.m. time slot or something, but it's not open that early or late. Just the latest thing I could do, I wanted to do. Mostly because of the music I play, it's kind of like not everyone's cup of tea. So, you know.
That makes perfect sense though. And I know that you mentioned earlier that you were pre-recording an episode in a few days, but what but have you done a pre-record episode prior to this point?
Yeah, actually my first show was a pre-record. Yeah, because I was going to be out of town that weekend. And it was actually for the college radio show day. So it was a Friday instead of Sunday, which is kind of funny. It was my first show, and it was not at the time it was supposed to be. But yeah, that was pre-recorded. It was all right. So gonna do the same thing tomorrow.
That's pretty cool. And would you say that you have a preference between pre-recorded shows and live shows?
Definitely live. I love the live. It's just more real in the moment. But I've been meaning start like a YouTube channel or something like that. Just kind of actually record the sessions and stuff. Just make it a little more interesting, and just for people who can't listen to it uh, every Sunday that late, to get exposed to it like that.
Well, if you do, definitely let's keep us posted so that way we'll be able to subscribe to your channel and and catch your newest
Absolutely.
episodes.
Yeah, definitely. I just started a the Blade Instagram account. I don't know why I didn't do it sooner, but finally got around to it last night. So all the news and you know if I'm having someone on is going to be posted up on there. Give it a follow, everyone. The Blade underscore WODU. Yeah. Made one post, just kind of mini collection of stuff that I've done before. And yeah, I might start posting the actual playlist too, just for people to listen in also.
And out of curiosity, like, how do you choose, like, which songs will be in a playlist for a certain episode?
I'm glad you asked that actually. Usually my first song I have to go like really like heavy, like sledgehammer in your ears, right? Some crazy. So that's what I usually do for my first song. I usually kind of get the vibe going for that from that first song for the next, I want to say 2 or 3 songs, and switch the vibe a little bit. Like say it was like Biohazard, so that's really like in your face. I might switch it to like a Minor Threat, which is still in your face but less beat down kind of, and so just keep that same genre for like a little clump, and I'll put like some Polish music in there. Um, just like to share the culture. And the last song is always "We Gotta Get Out of This Place," DOA. But besides that, yeah, just like fast, loud, aggressive.
Well, that's just, so great that that you have like a flow to it. And
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, but as you were saying earlier, though, your closing song, I think, is just such the perfect, song for closing it out. I was listening to your
yeah. Thanks.
interview. Yeah, I was listening to your interview on Sunday, and it was just like, it's like, you mentioned that this is the perfect song, and it's like, it's so fitting for, for the end of your show. And I mean, it made me want to, it made me really want to listen to the next week episode.
Yeah, hey, thank you so much. Yeah, it's a great song. I've been listening to it forever. It's just it's fitting. I gotta get out of this place. My hour is up. Time to boogie on out, and it's got like a little groove to it too. So I kind of like boogie while I clean everything up.
That's pretty cool. Like, that you're able to, like I said, to do that though, especially for the latest show on Sunday night. You know, but only half hour, until Monday.
Yeah, yeah. It's just it is what it is, right?
Yeah, and I guess with that being said, like I said, it's really cool though that, like I said, that you're able to, to really follow your passions and, like I said, and truly make the most of it though.
Yeah, thank you. I just like to make the most of any situation, good or bad. You know, why not make it good though if I can, right? Just kind of do whatever where the wind blows me, right?
Yeah, definitely. And like I said, it's just been so fun. Like I said, meeting you and yeah, and really getting to know you though. And yeah, and I know that you're used to to speaking with guests on your show. So how's it like being on the other side of this?
Well, see, I wouldn't say I'm used to it. I've only had 2 interviews so far. Third one tomorrow. Shout out Ulamog, gonna kill it. Um, yeah, I'm still learning. Um, I always tell my guests before they come on, like I suck at this, so be wary. But it's definitely different being on the other side, almost like chiller. I want to say because I don't have the the pressure of performing well as a host.
Yeah, and I mean, at least that you don't, have that pressure. Hopefully, you're able to like relax a little bit more, and and really get into the groove of in the groove of things, and share your own story.
Yeah, absolutely, and I appreciate the opportunity to get to do this too because I honestly didn't think I'd ever get interviewed for anything, so it's pretty cool.
Well, I'm so glad that that you're enjoying it, and I guess since you mentioned that that you tell your guests that like you're still getting used to it, and everything. I guess what has been like I guess the biggest learning curve with trying to get adjusted to doing these interviews.
Um, Honestly, when I had my first interview, uh, big shout out Greeno, Zach, Chris, and Freaky D. Super cool guys. I mean, I've seen most of them play in their band Bato. Again, big shout out. Just talk to them at the radio shop or record shop, sorry. Um, and yeah, just so I was already a little familiar with them. And on the way to the studio, walking with them, just super cool, chill guys. We think the same. I like to think. Um, so it's just relaxing. Like I was talking to a buddy, not like a dude I look up to. Not saying I don't. I definitely do. But just more relaxed because they didn't care.
Well, that makes perfect sense. And yeah, I feel like you can almost tell, like, yeah, when someone is really like genuinely enjoying a discussion, and yeah, and even like the flow of it, because yeah, like you speak differently to someone that you've just met as opposed to someone that that you've known for a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially with someone that I look up to like that, it's a little nerve wracking at first, but they were super cool. Same thing with Dom and Det, just chill guys, super down to earth, and easy going with it. So definitely helped out a lot.
And out of curiosity, for the two shows that you've done, has there been a favorite moment thus far?
Um, Favorite in terms of funny or like kind of out of pocket, and then when obviously when Dom started freestyling on my show last week, it was sweet. It was surreal almost. Fresh beat from Det and spitting off the dome, right?
That's pretty cool though. And were you expecting like that type of live performance?
No, not at all. And I didn't even think about it. Ask him to do that, but conversation started rolling. I was like, "Yo, freestyle real quick," and he did it. Didn't back down at all.
Well, that's pretty cool though that you're able to have these special moments, and I hope that you are able to do, like you were potentially suggesting a little bit earlier, and recording some of the stuff, so that way you can go back and re-enjoy these moments later on too.
Absolutely, and Dom actually had the good idea to record the entire show when I interviewed them. So hopefully, I can see the full recording of that.
Yeah, that'd be really cool if you're able, if you're able to do that and have access to that. And yeah, it's just these small moments too that that you really will remember for a while.
I see. To me, they're not small. They're huge. I take everything very. I don't know the word, but it's like everything's super important to me, especially stuff like this. It's just great experience.
I'm so glad that that you're enjoying these experiences. And yeah, and I mean, when you're able to chase your passions like this, like you have been doing, I mean, yeah, I could only imagine like the amount of these moments that you really have.
Yeah, I mean, I just try to. If I want to do something, I'm gonna go do it. Or I'll die trying, figuratively. But just if you like it, go for it.
I love that sentiment. And like I said, Sebastian, this has been, like I said, such an enjoyable conversation. And I said, and I'm
Yeah,
so glad that,
likewise.
yeah, and I'm so glad that you've taken the time, to speak with us. I mean, this has been really fun.
Yeah, I'm having a blast. It's totally new to me, but it's a great experience. You're a great host, man. Thank you. Also, yeah, I'm having a good time here.
I definitely appreciate it. And before we begin, wrapping up in just a moment, is there anything else that you really wanted to, to share while we're speaking?
Uh, December 9th for the kids show at Norfolk Tap House. Huge lineup. Ulamog, I think, is headlining that one. Big shout out. Um, Come show up. It's at 4 p.m. There's a lot of bands going. Bring a toy to donate to the kids for Christmas. $10 at the door. Support the band, support the music, support the people. Definitely show out if you can.
That's really such a great cause. And, for those who may be tuning in, a little bit, after that, depending on when the episode releases, I, is there any way that people can, support if they're not able to make it?
Go to Not for the Weak Records, brick and mortar shop. It is downtown Norfolk, right next to the Marriott, like that big hotel. Just go right behind it. Buy records, buy a T-shirt. Just talk to Greeno. He's always over there. Um, Yeah, just buy stuff from them. Go Bandcamp or all the stuff's on YouTube too. After the fact, so listening and watching, always great to get exposed to it.
Well, that's awesome. Well, yeah. First of all, thank you so much for supporting such a great cause, and I hope that you enjoy your time.
Always, yeah. I always have a blast. Just can't be in the pit for too long though. Bad things happen.
Well, definitely, enjoy your time, but stay safe as well. And I just,
Always.
yeah, and I just really can't, wait until, whenever we have a chance to, speak afterwards, whether offline or on the show.
Yeah, me too, man. It's been great meeting you and getting to know you as well. Um, our paths will definitely cross.
Definitely. And I really look forward to that. And, and I know that you provide, your, Instagram handle for the Blade a little bit beforehand. But if anyone wants to, to contact you or to follow the show, what are the best places for them to do so?
DM me on my personal Instagram at Seagrass SEAGRAS .s. I look at DMs all the time. I'm always on Instagram. That's that. Yeah, you'll get to know me better and the music that I see and enjoy.
That's awesome. And last but certainly not least, though, I did want to say, for those who are currently tuned into the show, what is the last thing that you want to leave the audience with, whether it's an inspirational thought, a life lesson, or whatever the case may be? The floor is all yours, Sebastian.
That's a heavy question. If it's worth doing, do it right. Also, listen to hardcore. It's awesome.
I love that. Like I said, this has been such a fun. Like I said, this has been such a fun conversation, and I've really enjoyed it. So please keep in touch, Sebastian, and I can't wait to continue supporting your show and seeing what else that you have up the line.
Yeah, man, I really appreciate it. Love the support, and likewise, man, you're doing great things over here.
Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate that. But yeah, but for those of you watching or listening, thank you all so much for tuning in to the Tansson Talks Show every week. I always appreciate your support. And be sure to tune in next week as we continue on our mission to bring people together. I'll see you all next Saturday. Take care.
Good night, everyone.